A leaked video just dropped that has everyone asking the same question. Is Snoop Dogg's 27-year marriage to Shante Broadus finally over? The clip allegedly connects Snoop to Diddy's infamous parties, and if the rumors are true, Shante herself might be the one who leaked it. We're talking about one of hip-hop's most solid couples potentially falling apart in the messiest way possible, and the timing couldn't be worse. Let me break down what we know so far. So here's where things get complicated. Diddy was sentenced in mid-2025 under the Mann Act for transporting people across state lines for illegal purposes. The trial exposed years of alleged abuse, manipulation, and those so-called freak-off parties that prosecutors described as recorded events involving drugs, coercion, and fear. When Diddy went down, a lot of people in the industry breathed a sigh of relief, thinking that chapter was closed. But apparently, it's not closed. According to multiple sources online, a video started circulating in private industry circles last month. The footage reportedly shows Snoop at one of these parties, and the person who leaked it, his own wife, Shante. Now, before we go further, let's be clear about what we're working with here. Nobody has confirmed the video actually shows what people claim it shows. We haven't seen it verified by any major outlets, but the rumor mill is spinning hard. And the fact that Shante's name keeps coming up is what's making people pay attention. For context, Snoop and Shante have been together since high school. They got married in 1997, and their relationship has always been held up as one of the rare success stories in hip-hop. Snoop has talked about her publicly for years, crediting her with keeping him grounded through everything from Death Row Records drama to his various business ventures. In a 2020 interview with GQ, Snoop said his wife was his best friend and that she handled things behind the scenes so he could focus on his career. He's mentioned multiple times how she's been there during his lowest points and pushed him to get back up. That's why this alleged leak is hitting different. If Shante really did release this video, it wouldn't be some impulsive move. After nearly 30 years together, she'd know exactly what she was doing and what it would cost him. But their marriage hasn't always been smooth. In 2004, Snoop actually filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. The hip-hop world was shocked because they seemed like the couple that would make it through anything. The divorce was finalized. But then something unexpected happened. In 2008, they renewed their vows. Snoop said publicly that he realized he'd made a mistake and that Shante was irreplaceable. During that separation period, there were rumors about Snoop's infidelity, though he never confirmed specific incidents. What he did say in later interviews was that he had to grow up and realize what he was risking. Shante, for her part, rarely spoke about the split publicly. She's always been more private, handling business behind the scenes rather than airing personal issues. That's what makes this alleged leak so significant. If Shante really is behind it, this would be the first time she's taken something private and made it explosively public. That suggests whatever happened wasn't just another instance of cheating or disrespect. This would have to be something that crossed a line she couldn't come back from. Here's what makes this situation even messier. Diddy's trial revealed that cameras were everywhere at these parties. Prosecutors presented evidence that recordings were used as leverage to keep people quiet and compliant. Several witnesses testified about being threatened with the release of compromising footage if they didn't cooperate or if they tried to speak out. One anonymous witness, referred to in court documents as Maya, testified that Diddy explicitly told people he would release their videos if they refused to participate in future events. That's the same playbook Cassie Ventura described during her testimony about an incident on a flight back from France. According to Cassie's testimony, Diddy told her that if she didn't comply with attending another one of these parties, he would release footage of her from a previous event. The prosecution's case laid out a pattern that went back years. They presented testimony from former assistants, security personnel, and multiple alleged victims who described a system where attendance at these parties came with expectations. People weren't just invited to hang out. There were implicit and sometimes explicit requirements about participation, and the cameras were always rolling. What came out during the trial was that Diddy allegedly kept an archive of these recordings. Former staff members testified about hard drives and cloud storage containing years' worth of footage. The prosecution argued that this archive served two purposes: personal gratification and insurance. If anyone ever threatened to expose what was happening or refused to stay quiet, Diddy had material he could use against them. So if Snoop really was at one of these parties, and if there really is footage, the question becomes, was he just there or was he involved? And more importantly, did Diddy have this tape as potential leverage over one of the biggest names in West Coast hip-hop? Given Snoop's squeaky clean public image over the past decade, that kind of footage would be incredibly valuable as a control mechanism. This is where people are split. Some folks online are saying Shante finally had enough of infidelity and decided to burn it all down. Others think this goes deeper than just cheating. Shante isn't just Snoop's wife. She's been his business manager and has her hands in multiple ventures tied to his empire. If there was betrayal in business on top of personal betrayal, that changes the calculation entirely. One theory floating around is that Shante knew about the video for a while, but waited until after Diddy's sentencing to release it. That timing would make sense if she wanted maximum impact with minimum legal blowback. Diddy's already locked up, so he can't retaliate. And releasing it now puts Snoop in a position where he has to answer questions about his connection to someone who's been convicted of serious crimes. There's also the business angle to consider. Shante has been involved in managing Snoop's career since the early days. She's not just a wife who handles the home front. She's negotiated deals, managed partnerships, and built a significant portion of the Snoop Dogg brand alongside him. If she discovered that Snoop had been hiding this connection to Diddy's activities, that's not just a personal betrayal. It's a business risk that could have blown back on everything they built together. Think about it from her perspective. If this video exists and eventually came out through other channels, she'd be caught in the fallout too. Her reputation as a manager and businesswoman would take a hit. People would question what she knew and when she knew it. By allegedly leaking it herself, she controls the narrative. She positions herself as someone who found out, was appalled, and refused to be complicit. But again, we have to be honest about what we don't know. We don't know if Shante actually leaked anything. We don't know what's on the alleged tape. We don't even know for sure that the tape exists outside of internet rumors. What we do know is that her name is attached to this story across multiple gossip sites and social media platforms, which means someone wants people to believe she's involved. What we do know is that people in the industry are talking. Social media has been flooded with reactions ranging from shock to, "I'm not surprised." Some people are defending Snoop, saying that being at a party doesn't mean you were involved in everything that happened there. Others are pointing out that Diddy's parties were an open secret for years, and anyone who attended repeatedly knew what kind of environment they were walking into. The hip-hop community has always had a complicated relationship with loyalty and accountability. When one person goes down, there's always the question of who else knew and who else was involved. Snoop has managed to stay out of major controversy for most of his career, which is why this hits different. His brand is built on being the laid-back, lovable OG who transcended the gangster rap era and became a mainstream icon. Over the past 15 years, Snoop has built an empire that goes way beyond music. He's got cooking shows with Martha Stewart. He's a youth football coach. He has cannabis brands, a venture capital firm, and partnerships with major corporations like Corona and Skechers. He's positioned himself as someone your grandmother would invite to Thanksgiving dinner. That transformation from 1990s gangster rapper to America's favorite stoner uncle is worth tens of millions of dollars in brand value. If this video is real and if it shows what people claim, that brand takes a massive hit. Corporate partnerships start getting nervous. Family-friendly ventures become complicated. The voice-over work, the commercials, the TV appearances, all of that gets reevaluated. Companies don't want to be associated with someone connected to a federal sex trafficking case, even tangentially. And if his wife is the one who released it, that's not just a scandal. That's a coordinated takedown from the person who knows him best and who helped build everything he has. That's the kind of move that suggests there's no path to reconciliation. You don't leak something like this if you're trying to work things out privately. You leak it when you want maximum damage. So where does this leave us? As of right now, Snoop hasn't addressed the rumors publicly. Shante hasn't said anything either. No major news outlet has verified the existence of the video, and without that verification, we're essentially dealing with very loud internet speculation. But here's the thing about rumors like this. Even if the video never surfaces, the damage might already be done. Once people start asking questions about your connection to someone like Diddy, especially after everything that came out in that trial, the association alone is a problem. Snoop's going to have to address this at some point, whether it's to deny the video exists or to explain what he was doing at those parties in the first place. The longer the silence continues, the more people fill in the blanks themselves. That's how these things work in the social media age. Without an official statement, the speculation just grows and mutates. What started as there might be a video becomes there's definitely a video and here's what's on it becomes Snoop did XYZ at Diddy's party and his wife is divorcing him. If Snoop does address it, he's in a tough position. If he denies everything completely, people will question why such a specific rumor gained so much traction. If he admits he was at some parties but claims he didn't participate in anything illegal, people will ask why he was there in the first place and what he saw that he didn't report. And if he stays silent, the rumors continue to grow unchecked. And if the video does eventually leak, that's a completely different situation. We'd be looking at potential legal questions, brand partnership fallout, and a public reckoning with how much people in the industry knew and when they knew it. Depending on what's on the tape, there could be questions about whether Snoop was a participant, a bystander, or even a victim of Diddy's alleged coercion tactics. The fact that this is all happening in 2025, decades into Snoop's career when he's supposed to be in his legacy phase, makes it even more devastating if it turns out to be true. This was supposed to be the era where he's collecting Lifetime Achievement Awards and doing victory laps, not answering questions about alleged involvement in a federal case. Look, I'm not here to tell you what to think about this. We're working with incomplete information, and a lot of what's out there is speculation. But the fact that this rumor has gained so much traction so quickly tells you something about where people's heads are at right now. After the Diddy trial, nobody's giving anyone the benefit of the doubt anymore. The revelations from that trial changed how people look at the industry. All those whispered stories that everyone knew, but nobody talked about publicly, they're not whispers anymore. People want accountability, and they're not interested in protecting legends just because they've been around for decades. So what do you think? If this video is real, does it change how you see Snoop? And if Shante really did leak it, do you think she's justified? Or is this taking things too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I'm genuinely curious where people stand on this. And if you want to stay updated on this story as more information comes out, hit that subscribe button because this situation is far from over.